In 1992, a cartoon show debuted that changed the direction of not just me, but a whole generation. Everyone knows about Batman because of all the hard work that was put into that show. From the producers understanding that kids don't need an Adam West interpretation, but a more in line to the comic version of the great detective. The man who became this legend was Kevin Conroy, a Juilliard graduate who went on to do theater, performing in the Old Globe Theater, doing Hamlet and A Midsummer Night's Dream. Here's a clip from Inside You of Kevin explaining his experience auditioning for Batman.
What was the likelihood of a New York actor who primarily did classics? I worked for Joe Papp at the Public, San Diego Shakespeare, Hartford Stage. I did a lot of regional theater, did a lot of theater on Broadway and off Broadway. But a classically trained actor, what were the odds of the first animated audition he's invited to do is the animation of Batman? The first audition I went on for a voiceover.
And you didn't even want to audition for that role.
I wanted to audition for Bullock. Because I thought those are the character, I could be a really good character. I thought that'd be a more fun character. And because of the kind of roles I played, Edgar in Lear, Edmund in Lear, Achilles, Orestes, Prince Hal, all of these classic epic heroes, that the one role they would want me to read for is Batman, who is, of all the DC characters, of all the animated universe, he is a classic Shakespearean type of actor. His whole life drama is a Greek drama. I mean, it's so epic.
His connection to that character is something every voice actor should strive to have. But he had a passion to deliver an outstanding performance that not only he is proud of, but also his fans.
I've been doing this role for 30 years, which is pretty crazy for an acting job. But Batman the Animated Series became Batman and Robin, then Batman Beyond, then the Justice League, then the Arkham games. It just kept evolving and evolving over time. The amazing thing about playing this character for so long, aside from playing Batman, I mean, that dark, brooding, complicated, damaged man, and aside from all the great actors that I've gotten to work with, what's really been interesting is this interaction, this conversation I get to have with the fans. I didn't anticipate when I started how passionate people are about Batman. There's a really unique connection there. Because it's not like that for Superman or Wonder Woman or The Flash. It's different with Batman. And I think the reason is that because of all the superheroes, he's the only one who's actually not a superhero. There's nothing supernatural about Batman. You know what I mean? He can't fly. He can't see through walls. He's a man. He's a human being. He's more like a detective. Some people actually call him the great detective. But not only is he human, he's a very flawed human. And he knows he's flawed. He's been damaged by life.
While other people have taken on the role in both live action or as the voice behind Batman, none carried more weight than Kevin's interpretation of The Dark Knight.
I am vengeance. I am the Knight. I am Batman!
Tragically, we lost a legend in the voice acting world on November 10th, 2022, when he lost his battle with cancer. He is survived by his husband, Vaughn C. Williams. Our condolences on behalf of the Cold Read co-hosts. Farewell, Kevin. I hope you understand how much of an inspiration you were to so many of us.
Am I blue? Am I blue? Ain't these tears in my eyes telling you? Am I blue? You'd be too plan that you made done fell through. Was a time I was her only one, but now I'm the sad and lonely one. Lottie, was I gay till today? Now she's gone and we're through. Am I blue? Was a time I was her only one, but now I'm the sad and lonely one. Lordy, was I gay till today? Now she's gone and we're through. Am I blue? Now she's gone and we're through. Am I blue?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Thank you for those who listened to that. A tough topic, I know, everybody. I wanted to. I've been processing it for weeks and weeks and weeks now. He was such an inspiration to me. He was one of the reasons why I started to do what I did. So I wanted to honor him in a way. So thank you all for listening.
It was beautiful.
Welcome to Cold Read the podcast for voice actors by voice actors. Intro was by me, Zamoody.
Hi, Zamoody.
Hey. So yeah, let's go ahead and just. I know it's a lot of stuff to process. I was initially going to have you guys jump into it, and in all honesty, I kind of felt I wanted him to tell his story.
Sure.
And
I've never heard that interview before. Like, that was really an insight into him as a voice actor that I hadn't actually known. So that was actually really nice to hear.
When I heard, because I've been scouring and listening. When I heard that it was his first audition that he jumped in, 30-year role. How crazy was that? I mean, yeah. And funny enough, I didn't mention it that he used to be a roomie with Robin Williams.
What?
And Kelsey Grammer. Yes, because they all went to Juilliard.
That's funny. Oh yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
So
I didn't even know he went to Juilliard. But
I can't.
cool.
I can't even imagine what it would have been like to live with that man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So if you ever get a chance, look up these stories. They're all on YouTube. Again, I used a clip from Inside You. Kevin Conroy himself is the one singing Am I Blue. He actually did that song in character as Batman in an episode, and I found the full version instead of put it in there. So yeah, if you have any questions, any comments, anything you want us to talk about, please feel free to email us, ColdReadthePodcast@gmail.com. We have a Discord. The code to join is going to be in the description. I love Eldurrino giving out some knowledge this week on the Discord. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
That was very cool. Thanks for jumping in. So if you have any audio, anything you'd like us to listen to, we do have one still from, I believe, Mitch that we still need to listen to.
Oh.
We'll hopefully do that next week when we don't have a guest. But yeah, we'd love to hear it, and we'll give you some constructive feedback. We've done it to ourselves. We've all grown because of it. So thank you again. So with all that said and done, let's go ahead and check in with our co-hosts. So Renara, how has your week been?
It's been the past couple of weeks have just been, I think, is going to be the main running theme. But we have some good news out of that. So I have started with Tales of Annualia. I have my first deadline for the first episode the midway through this month, so I'll get my first pay on the docket there, which will be like,
Damn.
yeah.
Nice.
The other thing that reached out to me that I auditioned for, I did not get, but they have been really excited. They liked what I did, and they were like, and I'm gonna use the quote words of, "We want to keep you in our back pocket for now." And I'm just going, I love it when people, one, either do that, and two, say they've gone a different direction, because that means that they have found the perfect person for that role. So I am not, I'm happy for them, but I'm also slightly happy for myself, the fact that they want to, like, keep me in mind for a possible another role down the line, which I'm like, yes. But hey. I am going to, because I've been neglectful of my Skywind stuff, I'm going to actually get the last of my retakes, because I forgot that I had a retakes list sent back to me. Like, I thought I'd done them all. Like, my brain had said, "You've done them all, you're just waiting on that." Then I got a message through from the one of the voice actor leads going, "So how are your retakes going?" I'm sorry, what? I had like this momentary sort of like, oh dear.
Yeah.
So because it's ironic enough, it's like only like 50, which is really small in comparison to the like 1,600 I'd done. So my brain had just gone, "You've done those already. It's fine." So I'll have those finished, and hopefully completely, actually all of my Dunmer should be completely finished and starting to be implemented. Plus I've just got this added thing of, I have this weird thing going on where my old stuff, I'm pronouncing things differently, and they but the thing is, they recently had, like, within the last couple of years, had revamped their pronunciation sheet on certain things, namely place names. Now that's not as bad as having to redo everything going from Dunmer to Dunmer. That was a slog on its own, but I'm aware of it. Yeah. And I have pointed it out to them, saying, like, in this card on Trello, I'm like, I know for a fact I am pronouncing one of the name places wrong, or at the very least wrong for you. So I am going to be aware, please. And if you're okay with that, then that's fine.
Maybe it's a character quirk.
It's a character quirk. So doing that.
Good.
My application for social worker has been somewhat successful, and I say somewhat in regards to the fact of, I sent my application in, I've been successful, I have one more hurdle to jump, and it's a 4-hour assessment, and I'm there going,
oh my god,
okay, and I'm there going, right, I have a feeling I know why it's 4 hours, possibly to make sure there's enough time to speak about everything that needs to be spoken about. Right. But then my family have also politely reminded me that they might get me to do some exercises, and I'm there going, wait, what? So I'm there going, I don't know enough yet. I'm going to receive some information soon about it. Right. By January time, I will know whether I've been successful, and we'll see how that goes.
Cool.
So things are progressing. Yeah. We're going to ignore the massive shit pile that's behind me of everything that's currently going wrong. But those are the good bits. There we go.
Oh, good. Welcome, Renara. Thanks for being here.
Nice.
Misty, I didn't say this to Renara. Happy Thanksgiving. Hope everything went well. How has your week been?
Went pretty well. I don't normally. I grew up in a household that never really celebrated any holidays, just cause. So, never used to anything traditional. And then I had like a Friendsgiving, Saturday.
Nice.
Last Saturday, and that was really fun. Just getting to actually hang out with people that in person that I actually sort of have gotten to know. It's amazing. Missed this really much, really, as it's been a really crazy past couple of years for me. So that was nice. And I did audition for that project that I wanted to be a part of. Have not heard that they've casted anybody, but keeping my fingers crossed. I think I did a good job with the audition, personally.
Yay.
Nice.
Well, best of luck to you. Hope that works out.
Thank you. I'll let you guys know if anything comes of that, and I'll keep my eyes open for any other projects I'm interested in. That's mainly what I'm going to be doing, just sort of aiming for stuff that really catches my attention.
Oh, good. Glad to see that you're back on that horse.
Jeez.
Yeah. All right. Eldurrino, happy Thanksgiving to you. How was your weekend or your week?
So, well, happy Thanksgiving to you as well.
Thank you.
Well, it all started with Thanksgiving. It was a dark and stormy night.
Oh dear.
So I hung out with my girlfriend's family, and then the following day I got sick, and I've been sick or was sick, I should say, for a week. So I don't remember a whole lot of what happened during that week because I had just been kind of in and out of consciousness. But no, I'm feeling better. I have a lingering cough, but that always happens every time I get sick, so I'm not super concerned.
Yeah.
In the meantime, though, ever since I've been feeling well enough to get out of bed, I'm working on like 4 or 5 different songs at the same time.
Okay.
Not including my own projects. So it's been fun. I actually have been very much enjoying getting to handle other people's work, whether it be just mixing it and producing it, or actually contributing to it. There is one song that we haven't really gotten the ball working on yet, but I've just been coming up with a bunch of ideas, and I'm gonna say, here you go, throw all my dice on the table and see what we get. But it's been quite enjoyable.
Good.
Like I said, I have my own stuff I have to start working on as well. I decided finally on like a style that I want to do for an album that I want to write. It'll be very much it's an homage to like 80s style action shows and movies such as like Miami Vice and, and Rambo and a bunch of all the styles of music that they use through that I wanted to kind of emulate, because I really like 80s style electronic. Love like the rock and metal scene from that era. So yeah, I wanted to do something to that. I just haven't figured out like a concept for it yet as far as a storyline goes, but I'm sure that will come eventually.
Yeah.
What else has happened? I've almost been hit by a car for like the 5th time in the past 2 years.
Were you just walking? Were you biking? What?
I was driving home from work, and there was a car that I thought that there was like goofing around. I take this back road that has this pretty wide ass curve past this farm, and they were in the opposite lane. And I was like, oh, okay, it's a back road. Like, I see people goof around all the time because, hell, I want to sometimes. So I slowed down, expecting them to notice me and move over. Yeah. Well, they didn't.
Oh, God.
So they got within maybe like a few hundred feet of me, and I'm laying on the horn, and they still didn't move. And then they moved at like the last minute.
Oh, my gosh.
I was on the phone with my girlfriend, and all of a sudden she just hears me go, fuck you, like yelling out the fucking window. I was so like, because I've never been in a car accident until I moved to where I am now, and since then my car has been hit 3 times, and I'm almost gotten hit whilst I was in the vehicle another 2 times.
Oh my god.
So I'm getting super fucking stressed at people and their driving habits around here. So for that to happen, my immediate reaction was, I kind of wanted to chase him down and scream at him, but
yeah.
That would have not resulted in anything good, considering a lot of people around here own guns.
I was about to say,
yeah. So
please
I just
don't give us a heart attack, please. Just...
Believe me, I would very much like to be alive and well and alive.
Please do. Yes, yes, that would be very, very.
So yes, unfortunately, I can't help other people.
Yeah.
I can't. I fix computers for a living. I can't fix people.
Note to self: do not drive Eldurrino around when he comes over to England. He will shit himself.
What?
Oh, because of just how the
I mean, is there idiots over there that like?
Yes.
There's idiots everywhere.
Don't get me started on the country lanes. The one-way road that people go 80. When Ed Sheeran sang about driving 90 miles an hour down country lanes, he was not joking.
Oh, I don't listen to Ed Sheeran, but that's
Oh,
good.
okay, fair enough. You are excused, but still.
Painfully true.
70s on a
painfully
highway like the
true.
max over here.
No.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Also, blind corners. You cannot. We
Yeah.
won't go into that. That will be a half an hour rant from both me and Badger.
It's unbelievable. It's ridiculous. The amount of times I've nearly died in a country lane as well.
You're in Northern Ireland. Like, how does that even compute? There's less of you over there.
You have roads that are like designed for a horse, and you're just like trundling along, your wheels barely coming off the edge.
Yeah.
And someone just goes like, "No, you will reverse back 2 miles rather than I will."
I've just sat there before and gone, no, you can move. You can.
You do the
I
stare
have
down.
a lot
It's quite
of
fun.
hope. I have a lot of hope for the future of the world.
I do not. I used to have that with boats as well, where because nobody on boats knows the rules of the road or the rules of the sea, and you'd know that they're meant to move, and you'd sit on the bow of your ship going, "You have to move. No, you have to move." And he'd be screaming and shouting at you, and be going, "No, you have to move." And they would.
I'm just gonna say that's the most British way. Like, no, you have to move. Like,
No,
that is something we would do.
Get the fuck out of the way.
Please, exactly
There's that British politeness where
Oh,
you
yes.
guys are like,
oh yeah.
could you kindly move out of the way? And I'm like, fuck you, you
That's crazy here. I don't want to get anybody angry here because also here everybody just likes to wave around a gun if they get mildly inconvenienced. It's scary. It's like
Texas.
Well, with that in mind, thank you, Eldurrino.
How was your week, Zamoody?
Oh, thanks for asking. Hey, for the most part, it was okay. I'm having some issues with voices.com. I ended up canceling my account November 26th at like 11:30 p.m., not seeing that they'd already charged me an hour before.
Oh.
And then I reactivated the account, and now they want to charge me again.
Okay, no.
So no, it's not. That's not cool. I mean, 100%, that's not cool. So I've already sent them like 3 emails. I'm gonna have to call them on Monday, and I'm not looking forward to having this conversation because I can show the PayPal transaction. I can show the transaction on voices.com itself, showing that my membership for the next year is okay. Of course. Because of this, I've missed a couple of private invites, which I'm fairly unhappy about. And you know, it's just one of those situations that I procrastinated too long, and it's my own fault. So, you know, something to consider in the future is, you know, don't procrastinate if somebody's going to charge you a ton of money. So,
well, I mean, that's not a duplicate charge isn't necessarily your fault in any way, and I don't feel like that has anything to do with procrastinating.
No, but I had the option of renewing early at a better price, and I didn't. I was just going to shut it down and see what they offered me. And then I didn't realize I thought I had till the 30th. I thought I had, you know, closer to the end of the month. No, it was like the 27th, but they charged me the 26th at like 10 o'clock at night, which was, they're in East Coast, and this is a whole other thing. So yeah, I'm currently in having that issue with voices.com. Otherwise, I'm finally over whatever the hell gruff that I have. Rose is much better. So I'm looking forward to doing more stuff. I actually have a appointment with Soul Wolf, who was in chat right after this, to do some lines for his stuff. So, yay, looking forward to it. All right, with all that said and done, let's go ahead and check in with our guest real quick. So Badger Missile, welcome for joining us. We missed you last time, and apparently I've misspelled your name. I'm going to have to fix that in post. So
I've got so many names at this point. I've got,
is Badger just okay? How did you want me to?
Badger's good. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, well,
did you go by Felix on YouTube?
So that's my new writing name, which is a long story, but
But I mean, what would you rather, just Badger or just Felix? What are we talking about?
Badger or Felix, either one.
Sure.
Whichever one you choose.
That works for me. Yeah. So how was your week been, Felix? What's that?
It's been.
Don't worry, that was terrible. Oh my God.
Mostly good. I work at a tourist attraction in Northern Ireland, so I've been working away there. I work in marketing, and it's just a lot of my biggest issue is that I have just too many projects, and I take on too many projects. So I'm currently writing 5 fantasy novels, recording one of them, trying to get a script off the ground, trying to start my own business at the same time. So everything is just a lot. And one of my main projects, one that I'm really, really deeply passionate about, was one of my fantasy novels. I was recording it, and it's kind of been on the back burner for a while, and mainly because I'm on this one chapter that's just driving me nuts. And every time I read it, I'm like, this is fine, and then I go to record it, and I get to that bit always, and I go, oh, this isn't believable. This is, and I could send you the outtakes of me just going, oh, this is shit. What are you doing? What?
Oh no!
If you're brave enough to do that, go for it.
And I've rewritten it. I've redone it. I've tried for the last 5 months. I think been just this one chapter, and finally this week I sent it to a friend who I trust very well. And she went through it and she said, "You're absolutely overthinking. It's fine. Just bloody record it." And I'm finally getting the balls to finally just push through and just do it, because I think there's that thing of like, not everything has to be perfect how you envision it. It can be, just enough. And, so yeah. That was been
wow. Well, hey, that's at least progress, so that's good. So before we get too much into, because I know I can only imagine writing and recording something at the same time is got to be a pain in the butt. How did you get started in this whole journey?
So Renara knows a lot about that. So the whole thing started with my book. I came out of a surgery that was around my throat, which has a whole big thing around it. And one of the things I was sort of doing was I was trying to like reclaim some of that thing, because they were telling me that I was going to lose my voice. So I had to keep practicing on it and training it so that I wouldn't lose it. And one of the things I kind of had as well at the same time as this idea for my book, which was Bogman, which is like post-apocalyptic Irish world with Irish mythology clashing with a modern setting, and the whole thing revolving around this guy who's pulled out of a bog and is thousands of years old and wakes up. And I started recording that, and the main reason I was recording it was I was going, I'm really dyslexic, and anytime I write something, I always get the same response, which is, this is great, but I can't read it because the punctuation and grammar is terrible, but everything in between is great.
Who needs punctuation?
And I realized that when I spoke it, all that was disappearing. I knew what I meant when I was writing. So when I was reading it, it was coming out good. And I did this recording for a while, and then people who listened to it said, hey, your voice is sounding really good in that. You're good at performing it. Have you thought about voice acting? And of course I had massive fan of people like Matt Mercer and, the Critical Role gang that really got me, because I was big into D&D at that point. And I just started auditioning for things on castingcall.com, and had sort of varied to low success and that for a good while. Yeah, but that's kind of my journey.
What because everybody always likes to know, what general equipment did you have when you first started doing the casting
nothing. I auditioned for Renara's thing with a £5 microphone I'd bought off Amazon, and I was just up here speaking into it, and I had a really nice message from Renara, which was just, I actually really like your audition, but you gotta improve. Like, you gotta get this stuff worked, because otherwise, I can't. It just sounds like, and it was just nonsense. So I got myself the same one that you had, the C2.
You
had at the time.
CU01 USB
something Pro,
Samsung Pro,
thing. So I got myself that one, and I operated off that for a while, and that was good. But I was still in a big empty house, and I've still not resolved that issue.
Yeah.
Sorry, what microphone was it again?
Okay, so
it was CMOST Samsung
Pro. But anyway, I upgraded then to a Shure SV7.
Oh, okay. That's, cool. That's actually a good mic, yeah.
So I've upgraded to that. And now I'm just trying to find, because I'm in this weird position with my work, and I've actually rented a section of my house to roommates because they were kind of stuck. Turns out people in the little town in the middle of nowhere can be quite racist and don't want to offer houses to people who sound like they're from a different place. So rented out my house to them, and now I'm trying to figure out, where do I put any sound recording, where do I have a recording place? So figuring that out still.
So
sorry, I have like just a tiny small anecdote, because I vividly remember this, because this was coming off of the back of talking to Badger about all of like the voice treating and stuff, and you've got to picture this. I am trying to collate a massive paragraph of words into describing how to soundproof around the mic. So I ended up just sort of going at work really quickly on Photoshop, like on a computer, just taking the photo you gave me, or a photo,
just drew a
and then
box.
I just drew like a box around it, going, "Here is where the foam needs to go." Like if you can't pad like the rest of you, like it needs to just go around, around the microphone. And it was just we had several backwards and forwards of just trying to explain to each other, and then I'm trying to figure out how big your room is, like how big your house is, and then it was just the sort of thing.
The best bit was my mum coming in to check on me because I was still on.
I've not heard this bit. I don't think I've heard
this bit.
And
I had a duvet and a blanket over my head, and I was in the darkness going, "You will never learn, you stupid child." And I was talking like this to myself, and my mum just came and goes like, "Are you right?" I was like, "Get that out of here!"
If you want to hear Badger's stellar performance as Arobin Hamel, currently, it's chapter 2 of the Assassin in the Desert. It's the only line at the minute, but he does a wonderful job. It's amazing. I promise Arobin will return. He just is in the next book, and I have not finished Assassin in the Desert yet. He is there. I promise. It's just
trust me. I've my neighbors must think I'm insane half the time. My kids have walked in. My wife is like, "Are you okay?" Well, like I was doing like Dragon Ball Z stuff.
I'm surprised I haven't had the cops called on me yet, because I did Scream Queen stuff a year ago, and I was like, just so you know. Actually, they start to play music loudly every time I do something remotely slightly loud now, so I'm there going, I know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have to tell my roommates every time I play D&D and record D&D, because they will hear very random stuff coming out of my room.
Note on door, please do not. We're fine. It's just,
So has writing just always been something that's there, and you just?
I was very young when I decided I wanted to be a writer. And my parents, because I was extremely dyslexic, and my parents were like, "Oh, that's nice, honey. He'll grow out of it." And I was like, "I know there's this world inside this world, and they're at war with you." Yeah, and I was continuously making up this bizarre stuff. And then for a very, very long time, I was just sort of pittering around with short stories, poems, this kind of thing. Didn't really find anything that I had like 5 or 6 books in my head, but they all just never came onto paper. And now I after I had my incident with my illness, I sort of had a thing where I go like, actually, you don't have as much time as you think you do. And I sort of had this realization where I went like, oh, I keep thinking that, oh, the book will just come to me and I'll write it when I want to. But I don't actually know if I have that time, and I should just write now and enjoy it, because I had such my family has been, and the extended family especially, are very focused on perfectionism. And I've always been sort of like, oh no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to write it. I'm not going to put it out unless it's perfect. So it was kind of letting go of that and realizing that, like, no, you don't actually have as much time as you need, and maybe it's fine to do it if it's just fun. And so I've been pushing a bit more on that.
So, was it just kind of like a light switch when you started writing it, or did you get pushed by somebody? How did you actually start putting what's in your head onto media?
I was always putting stuff on paper. I was always writing stuff in my head. I think the bit that was the light switch was literally driving back from the hospital going home, and I had this very weird sensation where I was like, COVID had just hit, and I was the last person to get my surgery before COVID hit, and I was driving home, and I was going, because, well, basically I had my thyroid removed, and my thyroid is responsible for your hormones, so my whole body was out of sync. I felt like a completely different person, and I was looking around going like, this world is different that I've woken up to. Everything's really, really different. I don't feel like the same. And I suddenly was like, oh, this is a story. And then I couldn't sleep that night. I just had to be up writing it. And I was writing like in a fever. And I after that, it became a bit hard work again. But I found once in like 2 or 3, if I give myself, an hour pushing myself, it would suddenly start flowing again. And it would, it was really sort of different than the writing I'd done before, I guess.
Wow.
I mean, I know most of us in here have done some form of writing. I think in some respects, I can speak on the fact of I've got 2 books on the go as well, because why not? But I've always found it difficult in regards to what is it? In the same sort of vein of I've got little things that I know I'd like this character to end up doing, but I'm not there yet. How do you bridge those gaps, or how does your writing process and creating process work? What are your little like key tricks, and how does your thing go from in your head to getting to that point?
Generally, doing the voice acting actually helped me so much with that, because it was one of the things I noticed as well, which is when I ran D&D, my biggest thing was like my characters, my world building was great. My characters were always a bit lacking. And then I found when I did D&D, for some reason my characters became 3D. They suddenly became real people, and I was able to voice them, and I was able to go, oh, I know how he'd react, I know how he'd think, and all of this kind of thing. I had a story about the soup, the sea being a soup, which is quite good.
Ah, yes,
So
this is
when we were training to be sailors, there was one guy who was on the boat with me who was Scottish, and you had different roles. So one person was the navigator for a day, one person was the captain, one person was the cook, and it was swapped and swapped and swapped in and out. And it was his turn to be a chef, and he had never ever cooked anything. And we said, don't worry, it's fine. All you need is just get some salt water, some and some pasta in, and put some sauce in with that. And once the pasta's boiled, put some sauce in, done. That's the meal. And he goes, right, okay. So I just get some pasta, salt water. Okay. Gets to mealtime, and he comes in and he serves this pasta looking really proud of himself, and we all take a bite, and it is the most disgusting thing I've ever tasted. And we go, okay, let's talk through the process. What did you do wrong? And he's like, right, so I got the salt water and I put the pasta in the salt water. I was like, where did you get the salt? Did you get water and put salt in? Or did you get salt water? And he had gone outside into the marina and taken a
oh my god.
I mean, in his defense, that's where my brain went too fast, to be perfectly honest. I'm like, salt water, it's outside. You can just boil it and be fine. Oh god.
That's gross.
Wow.
That must have been so salty. Like,
it was the most disgusting. I literally, and we were trying to eat it in front of him because you were trying to be like, oh yeah, no, you did a great job, but no, it was inedible.
I have a question in regards to Bogman. In regards to this is your baby, isn't it? This is your sort of not magnum opus, but it's definitely the first. Am I right in saying it's like the first proper thing you've voiced and you've put out onto the internet?
First thing I've ever put onto the internet, yeah.
Do you because I know for my own things, I started off in a very similar vein of it's all just me. I'm reading this book and it's just me. Are you planning to do a remake with other actors, or is this planned to be simply just you and your own take with it?
Initially, I wanted to have it be other actors, and I was definitely envisioning more of like a stage play kind of thing. The biggest difficulty I had was it got to the stage where I actually assembled a group of actors who were incredible talent. Some of these people were just phenomenal. And I was listening to their auditions and stuff, and I was going, this is going to be, it would have elevated the material so much. And it got to the stage where I was never an editor, and I was never someone who was good at editing. And I sent it off to an editor friend, who was a friend at the time, along with a bit of money. And he was helping me out, and he was sending me regular updates, and then he just went dark and disappeared with the money and never turned up again.
Bullshit.
And I was going, well, okay, what do I do now? I can try edit myself. And I tried to, and the more I was trying, I was going, this is just becoming, I'm not able to do this. I'm not savvy enough with the technology yet. But I still really want to do this and make this. And the more I try to incorporate the other people's voices in, the more I'm getting frustrated, angry, and dissatisfied with the project. Right. So I went, the best thing to do now is sadly to say, I'm really sorry to those people, say I can't do it at the moment, and try and forge on my own. And then hopefully someday, if I do have the money and I have someone who's got some editing skills to try and come back and try and do it with voice acting, because that's the way it probably in my heart, that's the way it should be. That's the way I envisioned it from the beginning. With me just doing the narration and the rest being done by actors. But yeah,
I can empathize in regards to possible like biting off more than you can chew, because I mean with the current one that I'm doing, when I went through doing the assassin and the healer, it was just one other actor and myself, and that was me getting used to what it would be like. And then I went, oh, I've got this in the bag, I know what I'm doing. Let's do 5 extra actors. It was the first couple, I won't lie, the first couple were a slog, and I was proud, and it's gotten to that point where I'm like, okay, I always advocate you need to be enjoying what you're doing. Right now, there is too many things going on currently for me to currently enjoy what I'm doing. So I did a very similar thing of I've put things slightly on hold, slowly, and I do mean slowly, working my way back into it. But I can agree. I can empathize, and I can understand sometimes projects need to take a different turn or a different way, especially if you're doing it on your own with no money involved. And I think whoever the person was that stole your money is an asshole, and I don't care.
Oh, I mean in general,
they can in the bin, just in the bin. I think if you keep pushing on one step at a time, I really like it. I've been listening to chapter 1 all day. And I genuinely feel this could be something. Like I know I say this to everyone, but this is because I love projects. I love passion projects, and I love when people create and bring it out and are just bringing stories to the world, because that's what we are in a way. We're all kind of storytellers. We do different facets of the storytelling, sure, writing, producing, voice acting, all that jazz. But at the core of it, it's telling stories. And I don't know, I'm learning more about Irish mythology through your story than I think I ever would have just from reading a book. So I'm going to be the positive the positive TA in the corner going, you're doing great, keep going. Please.
I need to make those pom-poms and pop up when this happens.
I will give a small disclaimer, just if anyone is going to watch Bogman, it is very gruesome and it is very bloody and horrific.
All the better.
Just keep that in mind if you're gonna.
So I did not children's story. Children's story.
I did find your YouTube. So I'm looking through it right now, and I noticed that you've got 5 different parts of the Bogman Waken already up. So is this a novel in progress, or is this one that you've already completed?
So the novel's already completed. I'm just recording, and it's because I keep hitting those bumps where I go, this isn't written well, you suck, and I get really angry, and then I go, I need to rewrite, and then I spend
you don't suck
X amount of time rewriting just one chapter. But it's essentially a series of short stories following Bogman as he makes his way around this new warped Ireland and coming into contact with things of old mythology and things of sort of modern mythology, and kind of reacting to them.
Fun. Do you find yourself maybe having to go back and like rewrite other stuff? Are you going to like redo that chapter? Or?
Yeah, I think for what's out on at the moment recorded, I haven't gone back on any of that.
Gotcha.
But I would probably, if I finished the whole thing, at least of book 1, where I see book 1 ending, I would probably head back before sending it to a publisher or anything. I would probably do a bit.
So you're basically like proofreading as you're doing this all at the same time.
Pretty much, yeah.
Wow.
And that's what it's the speaking part of it that actually acts so much as a proofreading tool more than I thought it would. Right. And there's so many bits that you read and you go like, on the page it almost looks fine. You read it and you go, that's heartless. That's got no depth to it. And you have to go, okay, well, what would a real person say? What would that feel like? And you have to rewrite it, and it becomes so much better, just from that, noticing it.
Renara's bouncing to say something.
No, it's the thing of I've got like 3 different things that kind of came from 3 different directions, so it was kind of like, mixed and joined. One of them was to do with are you planning to go to publishers with your manuscript?
Not with Bogman at the moment. At the moment, I've almost finished my novel, The Scripture of Flame, which is like a fantasy mix thing, kind of based on the war between the Tuatha De Danann and the Fomorians in Irish mythology. So it's a loose novel.
Don't know that bit yet, but okay.
Yeah. So it's like this ancient war that happened, and it's a very loosely based on that, but it's a fantasy novel, and I've almost finished that. Which was all actually happened because I was on a walk with my little sister, and she turned around to me and goes, what would it be like if people had like tattoos on their arms and they flicked them and they came out as swords in their hand?
That's
and I was
awesome.
like, you know what? Let's make a book out of it. I was like, let's make a book out of it. You give me the characters, I'll rate the book. So she's given me a list of the characters she wants in it. And we've turned it into, which is basically the Fomorians are like giants and the Tuatha are like elves, essentially.
Right.
And so it's a war between the two of them.
That's almost ready. I was going to say, if you're finding it difficult if publishers are being annoying, you can self-publish on Amazon, which is something which, I think all rights are still protected and things like that. Because I know one of my family members, he published a book on Amazon out there, so I know that's a thing. I think. Because my brain is saying they probably will want they'll probably shove it through a load of rewrites before they're happy, if that makes sense. Which is always
I'm well aware of that. I'm kind of aware that this one is so weird and so out there and so bizarre that I'm kind of just expecting to have to self-publish it myself because it's just so.
Don't be afraid to stand your ground, because I think J.K. Rowling stood her ground, and we have Harry Potter. So, I mean, that's probably not the best example to use, but it is the only one that came to mind. Sorry, it's the only one I could think of. I'm sorry. Please don't come after me.
Neil Gaiman. We'll use Neil Gaiman instead.
Neil Gaiman, thank you very much. I've been saved. Thank you. Oh, I'm going to go hide in the corner now. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
You're fine. Don't disappear again. This is the second time this episode that you just could all of a sudden vanish for some reason. So,
yeah.
For those of you that
I was
are
trying
listening,
to find the microphone. I was trying to find the microphone to show you in person what it looked like.
I put a link in chat. We found it. So
okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't mind me. I do just sort of. There's no way to get out of the box, so the only way out of the box is down. So I kind of. Yeah. So that's why I jump up and down. It's fine.
So what is this other project I see up there? The Old City. What is this?
This was a City of Mist. So it's like D&D, but it's a modern setting with people have awoken mythologies within them, and I started running just as for the fun. This was quite soon after. Yeah, I started running it straight. With a group of people that were just met online, and they kept saying, this is really good, can we put it online? Because I always record all my D&D sessions for like checking, and they were saying, well, it's really, really good, let's put it online. And I was like, brilliant, I really want to have it online. So I just started posting it, and I think there's like a whole bunch of episodes now.
Yeah, I'm looking at, I think, what is that, 16, if I know my Roman numerals right?
That is the biggest problem with it, is that the mic quality varies between each of the players. And that was a massive issue because we kept having people listening that were like really enjoying it and then saying like, please sort out the mics. And I was like, I can't, they don't have the money to pay for their own mics. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
And I had one life affirming thing from that actually though, quite recently, which was I got a message on my YouTube from someone in South Korea, I think it was, saying, why did you stop doing this? And I was like, I have a fan.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
I have a very small thing, and it's only because I've seen so many creators that recently, and unfortunately my tweet is deleted now, but I did speak out on something which is very important, and I think for all creators, and especially for me, I'm going to get some hate for this. You are not beholden to your audience. You are a creator in your own right. Like people who follow people simply because they feel they have power over that creator, because they follow, I get in the bin. And so if you have people saying, "Oh, you need to sort this out. You need to sort this out," you have your own path and your own timeline, and if you want to do that and your people want to do that, then that will happen when it happens. Yes, it's nice maybe for a commenter to go, it would be really cool if we could have up a better mic quality next season, but that's not like, and they just word it differently. And it's the thing of, it irks me when I hear people, audience members, demanding stuff of creators, because at the end of the day, you're there to enjoy the content that person is creating. You don't have the say in that, if that makes sense. Sorry, I was gonna explode if I didn't say anything. So.
Ramble.
There it is! Yeah!
They're waiting for it.
I figured you'd be happy about that one. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
No. And it's funny because you mentioned that, 'cause I've got a couple other projects with friends of mine that are more local. And the reason that we don't do is because they can't invest in the mic and they can't bring it up. And I recognize that it for content, mic quality being able to be understood is so high up on the list that if you can't really achieve that, it does make it very difficult for you to break through. I'm not telling you to stop what you're doing though, because if you, that one person that's like, how come you're not doing this? It's fun to have those individuals. Eldurrino and I have had those feedbacks in our TikTok stuff and everything that we do, and it's keep going.
I think there is. I've always, and one of the things I really believe in, I think it was something Neil Gaiman actually said, was like, there's so much like better, there's so much more of an enjoyment in creating something that's you, that if only like one person gets it, great. But it's so you, rather than trying to like pander to make something that you hope everyone will like, and it's not you, and it's never gonna be you.
Yeah. Because you're never going to put 100% of the effort if it's not yours.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd rather make one person smile than, if it's going to be someone genuinely liking the stuff that I'm doing, then
100%. So in the last couple minutes that we're going to have here, I always tend to ask the same questions. If you were able to go back when you first started your journey, what advice would you have for yourself?
Just that same thing of just have more fun with it. Just stop taking it so seriously. Have more fun with it. But don't be afraid. The other thing I would say, like, don't be afraid to freak people out. Because there was a lot of times when I was sort of muting my performance because I was like, oh, someone will think I'm weird. And I was going, no, just do it and be unabashedly accepting that people are going to be freaked out. And then the other thing I just say is if you're going to do something, another Neil Gaimanism. God, Neil's coming up a lot. It's just anything you do, finish it. Even if it's terrible, even if you're like, just finish it. And then when it's done, it's done. But you can come back to it in a couple of months. You can look at it again. You can work on it. But just what if you put your, if you're going to do something, do it. And get it done.
Yeah, I can imagine it just sitting there gnawing in the background, like, yeah, you should go back. You should get it done. It's just, finish it up. And then that's great advice, honestly. I'm not going to approach you on the voice acting side because you seem to be more of a writer side. Somebody wants to start writing, start doing that. What advice would you have for them?
Just write. Whatever it is you're doing, just write. If it's the most bizarre, put one word after the other and just keep going. Even if it's the most random thing, if you think no one would like it, write. And don't be afraid to be original. Don't go, oh, I have to make it because Game of Thrones did this and they did this and Lord of the Rings is this, so I have to make it that. No, make it entirely your own thing. And the one I will say, and maybe it's going to get a lot of hate for this, I don't think going to like a lot of writing classes and that kind of thing helps a lot, because you learn to write the way they want you to write. Just write the way you want to write, and you'll learn over time the things that can adjust and change and adapt. And I don't know. I've just known a lot of people who've gone to courses and come back writing like the person who gave the course, rather than writing like themselves.
I'd like to tack on to that and say, if you do want to look at more like education or classes in that regard, creative thinking is that's great class to take, because that doesn't teach you how to write like somebody else, but it gives you exercises and whatnot to help you churn out ideas, so that way you can still remain original or true to yourself.
It's funny that you mention all that, because if you really look, because it's over 100 years of at least movies, and not even talking about the Shakespeare and the writing and the thousands of years that's been happening, we're out of original ideas. It's very hard to come up with an original concept. I mean, even like Star Wars is like a redo of the what is it, the Seven Ronin or something to that effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that, like recreating something old and adding its own, because that's what all mythology and all creation is. It's just an imitation. It's the Joseph Campbell thing of like, it's the same story 1,000 times with 1,000 different faces, but there's nothing wrong with that.
No, don't be afraid of, if your story's going in that direction, tell the story again. Don't let that stop you. That's great advice. I love it.
Make it your version of that story.
Absolutely.
And for me, I say like I'm the one that's least like sort of involved in writing here, but yeah, even so, I still find value in it a lot because it's just something like, I don't know, I sometimes get in these certain states where I'm feeling a certain mood, and it's like very aggressive, like I'm really feeling extremely sad or extremely angry, and it's just this very hard emotion where it's like I need something. I want to write, and that's like when it actually comes out, and that's when like it's the whole thing. It's like I just start going at it, and it just comes out. And I'm happy with it. And it's like, I don't think I'm ever actually going to do anything with it, but I like what I've written so far. And it's a nice sort of way to let out things and just heal in a way temporarily, just to be like, oh, that was nice.
It's like, you don't need to do anything with it. Like the amount of stuff I've written for competitions that I've just gotten back, the feedback is, we don't know what this is about. And I'm like, oh, it's a retelling of Orpheus and Eurydice, and it's in a modern, and they're just like, we didn't get that, but good on you. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like I knew what it was about, and I was having a great time writing it. So
there you go.
Yeah, no, and I mean, to I'm sure in an emotional level, it's just so good to get that all out of your head and just download it somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any last questions from our co-hosts? Renara, I know. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going first because Renara's asked like 13 questions.
I have actually,
So, as a fellow musician, I need to know, what are the 2 guitars that are sitting behind you?
Those are both gifts. I am a terrible musician. So
I disagree.
Started learning guitar several years ago, and I am absolutely dreadful. But the electric guitar was a gift to sort of keep me active way back in university, I think. And the Weatherfield is a gift from a friend.
Oh, gotcha. I don't think I've ever played a Weatherfield now that I can think about it. I only ask because
I've not played one well.
Next to me at all times.
Wow, that's very convenient. Just like poof, here's a guitar.
We ever need a jingle, just go for it.
Hey, I've been saying we need a new intro song, so hey, Eldurrino, go nuts.
I could do something like the Community intro, like that kind of happy-go-lucky kind of thing. It's actually like really sad.
Communities.
Such a good
show.
show.
I love that show. Until the 5th season, and then I was like, And my final question for you is, what is your favorite pizza topping?
My favorite pizza topping. When I was in Italy, I had this one called the capricciosa, which is like artichoke heads, a egg in the middle, bits of ham around it, and you'd get it and they'd cut, and the egg yolk would just spill onto the rest of the pizza, and it was
God damn Italy, I need to go so bad.
Great food, terrible drivers, sorry.
Apparently that's everywhere. So.
Yeah, that's everywhere.
Wait, there's more than just pizza? I mean, it's this is a whole new other world?
Yeah, Little C's, come on.
Right. All right, any final questions before we go? Renara, you were...
Nope, I'm okay.
You're done? You're good?
Okay.
You sure?
Okay.
You sure?
I'm not sure, because there's like the thing is, there's half questions that are bubbling up that aren't completely finished, which I can't actually ask because I don't know what they are. So we'll figure that out later on.
Felix Twin Grin. Felix is the name my mum wanted to call me. Twin Grin, 1 grin, and then my scar, 2 grins.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, nice.
That's so cool.
That is also on YouTube. Please do me a favor and subscribe to the channel. I know I'm about to. Definitely, if you've got time, let's listen to some Bogman, and we'll see how that all goes. Thanks for something to listen to at work. I appreciate it. Well, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. If you have any questions, anything that you all want to talk about, please, everybody's welcome to email us, ColdReadthePodcast@gmail.com, ColdReadthePodcast@gmail.com. Again, you can join us on Discord. We're starting to have some conversations on there, which is so fun to see. So feel free to come in, talk to us, ask any questions, come join us. Sometimes we play video games if the game isn't like in a giant lull like it is right now in Destiny.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention this at the beginning. If any of you play Elite Dangerous, please come join and
Just
save humanity because the Thargoids are attacking human inhabited space. So we need your help. Please.
I've only just started, so.
Oh, great. Well, then you are like miles away from that. But if you need some help, hit up this guy. I've been playing it a lot lately.
Well, there you go with that. We'd love to hear your audio. Please go ahead and drop off your audio either in Discord or email us to us. We will listen to it. Sorry that it's taken so long to get to the one that we've got on there. We're hoping to get it for next week. But this is going to be fun. I appreciate it. And again, if we ever get the possibility to do a whole show on these, I would be so happy.
Maybe we should just save them. Just save them all together.
No, because then it'll be like next season after the next one coming up.
We'll still only have half an episode.
Right.
I'm being optimistic, guys. Come on.
Oh, it's okay. We can slap that down right now. It's perfectly fine. Next intro is Renara.
Is it me? It's me. Okay, that means. Oh God, this is the final of not final, but the last one of season 4 of Legend of Coldread. Badger. I know Captain Badger is dead, but would you perhaps like to? Well, to be perfectly honest, would you like to? Because I can resurrect him quite easily. Yes! Yes!
Is it a live
that was a good one
we just watched?
I think you just saw a live retcon, guys. Okay, it's all good.
Put in difficulties. We're getting there.
Oh, Twingrins works so well considering your character was shot with an arrow in the throat.
Oh,
that works so well. I'm so happy. Right, sorry.
Well, after that, with our final words of encouragement, let's hand this back to Renara.
Oh no. Okay. Right. So 1, I think I've said most of them on the thing. 1, you are not beholden to anyone but yourself on this journey. You are the master of your own journey. You go at your own pace. You are beholden to nobody but yourself. So be kind to yourself, Badger. 2, you do not need permission to create, but you do need permission to make money off of something that is like not yours, if that makes sense. So, for example, like what I'm doing. And lastly, have fun. Have fun, because if you're not having fun, then what is the point in doing this? Have fun and learn to take breaks if you feel the fun is leaving, because we all suffer from burnout. We all have those times. The world will still be here, hopefully, if we don't have, COVID. The world will still be here when you come back. So take your time and do it at your own pace. And have fun.
Well said.
Close.
Well, with all that said and done, thank you so much, everybody. Appreciate your time. We will catch you all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye. Drink water.
There it is.
Microwave.
Says bye too.